So for those of you who are relatively new to equity crowdfunding, you may be wondering sort of why haven't I heard of this before? Like what's the deal? So this is all relatively new. It started in 2012 when Obama signed the Jobs Act, and this first became legal in June 2015, and a follow-up regulation was passed in May 2016. So we're just a few years into this exciting new world of finance. Next up, we have Open Box Buy. Rich, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
Awesome, Rich. This is Rich with Open Box Buy. Rich, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Can't say how excited I am to be with you here today. I'm the CEO of Open Box Buy. I guess we can go right into the next slide. Give you an example of what is Open Box Buy. If you can picture, we're a big box retail concept where typically 35 to 50,000 square feet, similar to like a TJ Maxx, Marshalls, or Ross. But if you picture a TJ Maxx, Marshalls, or Ross, they do big brand clothing and accessories and some housewares and things like that. We do it all in hard goods. We have a huge amount of refurbished electronics, everything from HD TVs to computers, tablets, laptops, to housewares, small kitchen appliances, large household appliances. We do some small furnishings and mattresses. We even do toys, sporting goods, patio furniture, barbecues. So basically, if you walked into a Walmart, we have almost everything with the exception of grocery, clothing, drugstore, and consumables types of things. So we specialize in the small customer that can come in and furnish out a small apartment or a small home. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Why we feel that it's a great opportunity in the discount retail marketplace is when you take into consideration other companies like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods. It's a large public company. During this Great Recession, you saw how from where most companies were faltering and hurting from the recession, you could see TJ Maxx was growing by the billions. They started off at 18 billion in 2007 and shot all the way up to almost 36 billion in 2017, with 3,800 stores. Another one that I always like to take a look at and pay attention to is Ollie's. Ollie's is in a similar kind of field as us, yet they do a little bit more of the consumables. I've seen them carry manure and things like that, flooring that we typically don't. It's a smaller company only in the East Coast. A lot of people haven't even heard about it, but in 2015, they went public on NASDAQ at about like $15 or $16 a share. And then just in early December, they were trading at, I believe, about 95, 96 a share, and had a market cap of 5.7 billion. So in 3 years, they went from, their first IPO to $5.7 billion and 300 stores. I believe they had around 200 stores when they first went public. So they were doing about $540 million in revenues, up to 1.077 billion last year. So when you hear a lot about how Amazon's taking over the world and everything's gone the way of the internet, even Epsilon, they had done a research study. They interviewed 4,000 people and found that 64%, so almost 2/3 of the people who shop on Amazon do it because of price, and then another 60% said that they do it for the free shipping. So everything about it has been price driven. And I've known that since the beginning when we started selling on Amazon, that, we go on there and compete in price point. You have other companies like Dollar General, who in 2017 opened 1,000 stores. Roughly, and you've got Dollar Tree that opened 620 new stores. There's a research group called IHL that had done a report about 2017. You have to forgive me that a lot of this came from 2017. The 2018 numbers aren't quite out yet, but for every one retail store closing, and of course these retail stores that are closing were places like Macy's, JCPenney's, these outdated business models, big department stores at full price that just weren't working anymore. 2.7 new stores were opening, and the overwhelming majority of them were all discount retail and grocery. So if you can go next slide. The important thing about all of this is where we fit in. As Open Box Buy, you've got TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, and these are all liquidators, big brand name clothing, the accessories and household goods. You've got like the Dollar Generals, the Family Dollars, the Big Lots, Ollie's, Bargain Hunt. There's even more that I'm not even thinking of at the moment. That they tend to be on that lower end. They have a lot of consumables, paper products. If they have a Barbie doll, it's going to be this, off-brand Barbie, or maybe their bottom line. When we carry a Barbie doll, it's going to be the $50 one that you find currently at, well, it used to be at Toys R Us or at Walmart or something like that. So, where we fit in, I believe, is there's this wide open niche for someone to do it very well with the household electronics, refurbished electronics, small furnishings, all the other hard goods that typically aren't found at any of these other stores. A place that you can come in again and furnish a small home or apartment, or if you just want to save money. When we carry televisions, unlike a Big Lots might have a 32-inch Craig television. We've got the 75-inch Samsung that you just saw at Costco 5 minutes ago, yet we've got it at $500 off of their price because it's a refurbish. So we believe that, right now, especially the way that the consumers are trending, even Nordstrom's, I believe the Nordstrom's rack stores, there's 244 approximately, according to their website, Nordstrom's rack stores, yet there's only 122 Nordstrom stores. I mean, that should tell you where the consumer trends are going. So, and also to address the elephant in the room, the Amazon, 15% of all of our sales, regardless of coming from our retail stores, come from eBay and Amazon anyway. So we are still a power seller utilizing those tools. Next slide, please. So our potential for future growth is we're entirely focused right now on opening our first big box store here in Henderson, Nevada. We have 3 locations that we are actually going through the negotiation process that to take down a new lease. The big thing over the last several years that I've been really adamant about it, I've always known that I wanted to take this nationally to hundreds of stores if I could, to be, analog to a TJ Maxx. And so I made it a big deal to create SOPs, standard operating procedures. And we have a, 3.5-inch binder that has operation procedures for everything that we do in our store. So we're ready to replicate that. One of the big things that I really admire about like Apple or Starbucks or Disney is that anytime you go into any one of their stores or places all throughout the US or all over the world, you get the same brand, same experience, the same good customer service. You know what you're going to expect. So we want that same replication between all of our stores. For the next 3 years, we anticipate opening 3 to 4 stores in the Las Vegas area, and then we want to expand regionally. We expect to go to Phoenix, Scottsdale first because they have a very, very similar consumer base and demographics as we do here, and then we'll expand through Utah and then eventually across the United States. The ultimate goal, again, is to be analog to like a TJ Maxx. Next slide, please. Lastly, about myself, this is actually my 3rd company that I've built. In my early 20s, my first company was an online DVD business, right when the web was just kind of starting out. I was buying DVDs. I had a little retail site. We hand-coded everything in HTML. This was back before they had, site machines that could help you to do that. Built that company. I sold it in my mid to late 20s. My second company, I'm a kind of a fitness guy. I developed my own line of nutritional products, liquid nutritionals. We ended up eventually taking that company public on the OTCBB around 2003, I believe. And eventually in 2006, I sold my controlling interest in the company. And in 2008, I launched Open Box Buy. Open Box Buy was just one of those things where I thought, I always loved eBay. I always loved getting a deal. I'm the guy that goes to Best Buy or Fry's or something like that and buys the open box off the shelf. And I always thought a closeout business on eBay might do good. And so started it in the garage. We were quickly, we had both the cars out of the garage on the driveway. The garage was full of product. And then we realized that we wanted to expand on that. We tried opening a 5,000 square foot warehouse, ran that for a couple of years, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. We found that people, because they were finding us on Craigslist, started coming to our place. So that little operation was, really starting to take off. And we learned quickly that, a lot of the shipping and receiving of the larger items, especially like a 75-inch TV, it was hard to compete because the shipping was so expensive. So we needed a store. It was what the customers were really demanding too. They wanted to be there, touch it, feel it, see it. So that's when we opened up our first 35,000 square foot store. And, from there it's history. So, again, we're, our current company here is to, start fresh with a new store in Henderson. We look to expand, regionally and then eventually, throughout the nation.
All right, thanks so much, Rich. We have time for one question for you, and that is, what will you do with the capital that you raise on StartEngine?
So the main thing is this is our seed capital to take down that first store here in Henderson. We plan on putting deposits onto the lease and begin the tenant improvement process. We'll negotiate that as part of the lease term, so that they'll put the money into that, but then we'll use the rest of the money. I basically have an entire 35,000 square foot store sitting in our warehousing ready to go. So it's turnkey. Once they give me a gray shell, we can go ahead and build out our shelving. So we're going to hire and use the funds to, build out the store, train the staff, and get ready to go. The likelihood too that we will expand the raise with StartEngine is rather high. I'm very encouraged by the beginning here. We really haven't even done any of our marketing push, and we've already raised, 15% roughly of what we wanted to do. And we haven't even really gone out there to press for the funds yet. So I'm rather confident at this point that we'll be able to do what we need to do.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rich. Thanks for coming on to Demo Day. That's Open Box Buy.
Yeah.
If you'd like to learn more about them, please check them out on StartEngine.